Hey guys, Desolator Gaming here, and it's time for the most important episode of the Desolator Gaming Podcast, the world's least consistently uploaded podcast. It's time to talk about Christmas and New Year's, because the biggest dates in all of Casino AP are Christmas, New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day, and the Super Bowl. And two of those are coming right up. Now, just in the last couple of years since I've been doing this, I have never once had a Christmas or New Year's where I make less than $1,000. I'm not even sure I've had one that was under two. I think one was a little bit close. So what do you need to do to prepare to have it not be a disaster and to maximize the amount of money that you can make? Well, one, obviously watch every single video on my playlist about how to beat casinos so that you're not looking up like, oh, how do you beat this game and trying to watch like a video or something. No, obviously on my Patreon for a couple bucks, you can just go download all of the guides, a PDF guide, so you can look it up real quick. It's like a paragraph and a picture that just says, here, play it this way. But if they're in your head, then you don't necessarily need to look it up on your phone. And everything is harder to read and hear on a phone. So I wrote down some tips about what to do, what not to do to make sure that this is lucrative. I mean, number one, will people be there? Yes, I don't care what casino you're at, where it's at, yes, people will be there. In fact, too many people will be there, which is actually a little bit of a problem. If you think you've seen a casino busy, you have not seen a casino busy like New Year's. Now, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and sometimes the day after Christmas are pretty hot at the casino. So don't rule those out, but I'm just going to keep saying New Year's and kind of refer to both. Because New Year's, like, that is our Super Bowl, and then also the Super Bowl is a pretty good Super Bowl too. So number one, don't drink. Okay, last thing you want to be is in a haze or not able to concentrate. They say don't drink and gamble, but you especially shouldn't drink and try to AP gamble and try and remember stuff and calculate stuff. That doesn't work. I'm German, Irish, and from Wisconsin, and I don't drink. What's your excuse? On top of it, either adjust your sleep schedule accordingly, just kind of go to bed later and later every night because you're probably going to be out till 2 or 3 in the morning. And then on top of it, have a little backup stimulant plan, I mean, you can keep sending the Mountain Dew all night from the free drinks at pretty much every casino. But caffeine tends to drop you, and then a lot of that stuff is sugar in it. So the last thing you want to be is up and down roller coaster. You want to be focused, locked in. Not sure I can legally say this on YouTube, but fun medical fact that has nothing to do with the video or anything I just said. If you have kind of stuffed up sinuses that day, you can definitely take either the 6-hour or 24-hour Sudafed that you can get at an American pharmacy in small to medium quantities by just signing a little thing that says I'm not going to do anything nefarious with it. Like manufacture something the cops wouldn't agree with. I think we all know after watching Breaking Bad. Now, do be careful though, because while it will unstuff your sinuses, it is a very subtle stimulant, okay? They used to, back before it was regulated, put them in the quote-unquote trucker pills, where instead of, 6 hours of caffeine and then crash, which is really bad, it was a little more durable. It ups your blood pressure, it ups your focus, it's more subtle instead of jittery and hyper. So if your sinuses are stuffed up that way, I would strongly recommend taking it because, nothing's worse than not being able to breathe. I will tell you that stuff drops you like a rock, though. It's worse than caffeine. But the 24-hour stuff is pretty good. And then on top of it, stay hydrated, especially if you're in like a dry environment, which would be the north because, ice. And then the south, especially Las Vegas, because of, deserts. So just keep slamming the water, even before you're thirsty. Slam it, slam it, slam it, go. Because the last thing you want is you get up from a seat and you're, I'm a little lightheaded. What happened? It's already too late. So that's my totally not medical advice from a totally not doctor. So one thing that I wanted to cover real early, this could be its whole topic, so I'm going to just cruise over this without many details. Let's say you get a hand pay for $1,300 30 minutes after midnight. So it's 2026. Oh, wait, didn't the feds just up the hand pay limit to $2,000? Don't complain to the staff about it. The machine is still working exactly as intended. In order to reset a machine from $1,200 to $2,000, you don't just make a configuration change. That is hardwired into the machine with something that is colloquially referred to as a region chip. It's usually not a chip, which is why I take issue with that name, but it says, this is in America. So if it's $1,200, lock up the machine, and there's nothing the casino can do about it. In order to swap out that chip, you have to unseal the core of the machine, which is, not the cabinet, not the speakers, not the config thing, not the front panel. It's the actual computer. And in order to unseal that in Nevada, you have to have a member of the gambling commission there present with you to make sure that you're not modifying it in an illegal way. It's slow, it's tedious. I heard they did a test and it was like 14 minutes per machine or something with their best technicians. So the smaller casinos, not only is there a shortage on those chips, so they're not getting prioritized over the big guys, But some of them have no interest in upping it to 2,000. They already want to verify like 1,200, so they're just going to leave it at 1,200. So what'll happen is until they can modify it, which will be like a week later, if they can even get the chips in somewhere between later and never, then the machines will start letting you win, 1,250, 1,300, 1,500, 1,700 without locking up. But a lot of casinos are just going to leave it because they want to verify that you are who you say you are, you're 21, you're allowed to be there, you weren't trespassed, that kind of stuff, if they're going to hand you 1,200. Also, there's this law about verifying where the money came from. They want to make sure you're not money laundering. They want to get your social and run it to see if you're in some database, So they might still leave it at 1,200. There's no law saying they can't do that. And if it's like you win 1,300, they just won't print you a tax form. So they'll still pay you by hand. It will still be a hand pay. They just will not fill out a W-2G and print it. So early on in 2026, don't complain about it. Don't say, don't you know the law changed? You guys aren't in compliance with federal, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to complain. Don't you know what you're doing? It's not that simple. They can't get the chips, and there's no law saying they have to get the chips, okay? They just don't. If they hand you a tax form below 2,000, immediately complain to someone about it because that they're not supposed to do. The IRS is even going to take issue with you filing your taxes that way. But no casinos that I'm aware of are that stupid and that careless that they didn't hear about it when it passed like 7 months ago. So just FYI, don't be that person complaining about, oh, it's 2026, it's supposed to be 2000. And then they have to explain for the 17th time to the 17th person why that isn't true and you're wrong. And they might not even know the answer. So just be that person where it's like, oh yeah, I haven't swapped out the chips yet. Yeah, don't worry, I get it. Just don't fill out a tax form and I'm good. Worst case, if they're like, well, we're going to hand out tax forms until this, and this, just wait until the next day or like a couple days from then go back and just be like, can I talk to someone in like your executive, your accounting, your legal compliance department? Because I got a tax thing and look at the timestamp on this. It was in 2026. You weren't supposed to give me a tax form. You were just supposed to hand pay me and then work it out later. You don't want to work it out when you're there. You could be hitting other machines. You could be using your time more efficiently. They're all tired. They're all sick of dealing with amateur holiday gamblers that are drunk and have no idea what they're doing, asking stupid questions and being belligerent. That is not when you want to try and get a hold of the right person. They're probably not even there working that day. So that's the whole 2026 tax thing. I figured I'd throw that in. So let's get back to stuff that's like actually useful for you making money. Number 2, get a hotel right now. If you have a high number of points and you want to get a hotel comped, it is probably already too late. I know my VIP rep at the casino I'm planning to hit, they actually said like you better come in like December 1st through 5th, right around there, but we don't take reservations before the 1st. And then because I got the last time, so the very top level, like it takes a lot of points to get to the top level at this casino. I was 4 times over that amount. So top ultra elite level tier number of points times 4. So they made an exception. They had an official policy, or he just said that, that anybody like that would get priority. So they actually did let me check in first. But yeah, you wait till like 2 weeks from now, there's not going to be any hotel rooms. Now, I'm pretty sure he was telling the truth because he let me do it and then did not let Shane do it. Because Shane is only like regular top level. He doesn't have the absurd amount of points that I do. Now, if you're like hotel room get comped, yeah, good luck. Not me, not there. You probably, depending upon your level, at least get a discount. It might be worth looking into. It's not safe to drive while tired, and it's not safe to drive around a bunch of drunk idiots on the highways. So might be worth your time and money, but like not at like $400 or $500 a room. It's not. And that's what it'll be the longer you wait. Everybody knows if you're going to some giant convention or some big get together every year, or you're going to like a home game for a sports like NFL thing, you better book that hotel room 2 or 3 months in advance, or you are not getting a good price, let alone a room at all. And New Year's, they're going fast. They're going to be at 100% capacity. I guarantee it. So you want to get in just to get one, and it might be worth getting it now and paying money for it because you know you're going to make more money. Like you'll be able to stay there longer with a hotel room, so it's just an expense that's going to come off of more winning. So do the math, know how big it is, know how far you are from home and that kind of stuff. So whether you get it comped or you buy it or you get a discount or whatever, do it now. Now, what you can do is book preferably a double or a single because you're going to want a crew. You do not want to solo this. And I'll circle back to that, the whole building a crew thing. That could be its own episode, but I will talk a little bit about that. But prepare to maybe bring like a cot, an inflatable mattress, something like that if you're going to cram like 3, 4, 5 people in the room and just not tell them that. They don't necessarily disagree with it. It's not always necessarily against their policies. It's just they want to know how many people are coming, especially if you book a single instead of a double and then pack 2+ people in it. That you're not supposed to do. And the rentable cots are not very good. But I have a military surplus one that is like amazing. Like I'm like 220 pounds and 6 feet tall. And I was comfortable on that thing. It's like this like hammock style one with just like poles and they have tension. It's really cool. It looks horribly uncomfortable, but it's like sleeping on nothing. Now, what time should you get there? That's where it gets weird because I would sleep in until at least noon, if not the late afternoon if you can. And feel free to chemically assist that with some melatonin kind of messes with your circadian rhythm. I would say, and I can't actually legally say this now because it is medically approved in America by the FDA for a sleep aid, believe it or not, Benadryl. AKA diphenhydramine, the little pink pills. That will knock you the heck out. You will be in a fog, especially if you don't have any resistance to it because you never take it. Also, you won't have allergies. But yeah, you want to get like, for sure 8 hours of sleep, if not 10. Trust me, I just did it today. But you might think, well, let's get there at 3 and just see what's up. Just keep making the rounds. If you're going to work 3 to 3, that's a 12-hour shift in a busy, loud environment full of obnoxious drunks. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but in a big crowd of people who don't commonly go to casinos, they don't know how to walk through a casino. And that seems like a really weird thing to say, but like, just walking through the crooked diagonal rows and these weird like 4-way intersections and all that because they make it confusing on purpose that you can't see the exits, People don't know, well, like this one's double wide and this one's not, and people pull the chairs out, so this person's standing behind this person, so I need to go here. Or there's like an outer ring where you need to walk through that, like at Potawatomi especially. There's like a super wide, like 6-7 person wide thing that they're not allowed to put any machines in because it's like a fire code thing, and you want to walk through that. But the more crowded casinos, the smaller ones, it's going to get nuts. And just be aware. People don't think, they don't look, they just don't have that like awareness, So it's going to get tiring, it's going to get annoying, and really there's no reason to get there at 3, because a lot of people are going to roll up about 8 o'clock. So you could be there before the crowds, but then what's the point? But you could pre-hit every single one. And if you can get an early check-in or check in your room at like 3 o'clock, you could just sweep everything and then just go crash, just go chill, Just sit down, relax, put in the earbuds, and watch some Desolator gaming content. Or watch videos of cute dogs, I don't know. Whatever calms you down. And I mean, this almost goes without saying, but I guess I'll say it. Make sure you know where all the machines are. So if you're not too familiar with this casino, like you usually hit like 3 smaller ones, but you're like, well, let's go to a bigger one that's like an hour or 2 away. And you don't know the layout, then you should show up early. Not just that, take notes. If they ask you what you're doing, just say, oh, I'm writing down just my favorites so my friends show up. I can like play them because I saw these on the internet. It'll make perfect sense. Not, hey, I'm making a map of all the AP stuff. Now, depending upon who's coming and what you got for a vehicle, you could make a backup plan in case something goes wrong. They reject your confirmation number. They gave your room to someone else, or there was a mistake, or who knows. I've had it happen. Okay, when we were actually driving to Minnesota, that happened. We got there and they're like, huh, what? And we had called them that morning. I was so mad. They had to transfer us to another La Quintas, I'll just call it by name, across town, and it was like 2 a.m. We were pissed. It was like a work vacation for my dad's company, but yeah, having nowhere to sleep, very annoying. So like, it's a little cold here, but we can make it happen. If you haven't seen my survival and like electronics channel, it's kind of like Bear Grylls if all he did was electronics and chemistry. It is called Emergency Survival Tips. Go check it out if you're interested. Very, very old channel. Been uploading to it forever. But on that channel, and I think some others like it, I have some tips about like improvised heating and like how to convert your car into a overnight sleeper. Pretty easy stuff. You can just get a memory foam mattress topper or something inflatable or just, whatever. The main thing in the winter is heat, but just like have that as an option in case you're like, well, we'll just drive home, and then you're all absolutely too tired to drive. Don't do that. Or if something goes wrong with your hotel room, you do not want to have to drive 2-3 hours after working for 12 hours with a bunch of drunk idiots on the road and deer running around if you're in Deerland. Speaking of that, I'll just say, don't necessarily decide to go to a second casino. We made that mistake last year where it was just so packed, we literally could not get on any of the machines. So we couldn't even camp because we couldn't really stand like in the aisles because people were walking through. And we also could barely even walk through the place. We're like, okay, we can't get on anything. There's too many people here. Well, now what? And we said, well, our B plan was to go to a casino about 45 minutes away. Or I think 35. So we did. We stayed there for a while. We came back and then we're like, we'll just sweep the main one when the people start going to bed, which, the older people crash out at like 11. And then a lot of people go, midnight, cool. And then they'll leave. And then the hardcore alcoholic party people will be there until about 2 or 3 in the morning. But it will start thinning very quickly around like 30 minutes after midnight. So we just thought, okay, let's do that. So it was a lot of driving. I got way too tired. I'm not even sure why. I was just so exhausted that day, and I knew to adjust my sleep schedule. Just something was wrong. It might have been how much I ate, or I don't know. So I ended up just sleeping in the driver's seat of my car with my my hood up and a hat on and just an improvised heater next to me. And then security was running around, saw that, knocked on my window, woke me up, and I was like, no, I'm just sleeping in my car, you know. And it was the same security guard who had seen me on the inside because, you know, get friendly with security and say hi and just, you know, oh, this is such a nice casino. Hey, where's the this? You know, ask about something you already know. Just, you want to be that guy to get the social credit in, you know what I mean? And so he's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I just got a little bit tired. You know, we got a hotel back at this other casino, but we came out here because it was packed and we don't like them. We like you better because it's such a beautiful casino and blah, 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 blah. He's like, okay, yeah, well, it's not against the rules. Keep doing it. Just make sure you're safe and not like dead or passed out drunk. You know, he didn't say that, but be nice to the staff. I'm telling you. I am telling you. Goes a long way. And dress nicely, okay? Not, you know, like real expensive stuff necessarily, just stuff that's clean, no holes, no stains, you know, so you don't look like the type of person that always causes problems at casinos. And be very well-spoken, clear, good English, you know, even if that's not where you grew up or generally who you really are. It might surprise you that this is not actually my clear-spoken accent in daily life. This is my YouTube/news reporter voice. I'm actually completely different when people meet me, and people are usually surprised by that. But none of you would respect me if I wasn't speaking flawless diction with the Queen's English. And if you see my live streams, you know that I ain't from that side of town originally. That ain't where I grew up, my friends. It's like that old joke from the comedian. Boy, when the cops pull me over, all of a sudden, I'm Ned Flanders. Oh, hello, how are you, sir? If you're going to interact with the staff and you want to make a good impression, you just want to kind of make your presence known and be like, hey, oh, you guys are so nice. You're so great. Everybody, oh, yeah, thanks for showing me where that machine is. Yeah, you're awesome. Just so that when you do something later, there's a dispute or something, you know which side they're going to take, you know, just saying. Or because you just want to be a nice person, not a complete jerk. Anywhere in between. Dress nice, be nice, act nice, talk nice, everything nice, and you'll get a little bit more leeway. You're basically recruiting allies, trust me. But yeah, he was cool that he's like, oh, well, you want to sleep in your car, do it, all right. I even told him, I'm like, well, I mean, I know I can't get a hotel room tonight, but we have a hotel room back at this other casino. We just left because it was too crowded, and we don't like that one as much as yours. Because yours is so much nicer. Well, what's he going to do? Be like, no, get out of here, you degen homeless. You're lying. No, you know, just like set it up. You know what I mean? But at the smaller casino, it was a pretty big crowd, but we ran out of stuff to hit because it's a smaller casino. Also, there was some where I'm like, ooh, yeah, Cash Falls. I never finished the numbers on that one. I don't actually know precisely when to play that. Here's a huge mistake where you're like, this is my one time. I brought out a ton of money. I did all this setup. I came all the way here. And, oh, look at 11 on Magic Treasures. Well, that's probably good enough. Well, let's play this one. I don't remember what Des said about how, like, if that's a long run or short run. I think it's not too bad, right? So, like, oh, it's a long run, but it's only 5 a spin. So, like, how much could it be? 300 spins times $5 is $1,500. Just FYI. And that'll be the day where it just decides to go 600 because screw you, that's why. Don't run out of money on a long run thing. Stick to short run, only hit long run if there's nothing else to hit for 2 very good reasons. But first, yeah, I mean, so we went to the small one, we hit some stuff, we ran out of stuff to hit, we're like, well, do we just drive back? Or like, it's not time yet, so we just sat around. And if you're sitting around, your crew's getting antsy, they're gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna walk around, and then you see them just playing stuff for fun and burning your money. Because it's New Year's and we're already up 500, so I might as well throw 200 at this one. Or this, I've never seen this before, this is new, I kind of want to play that. Or they start playing stuff that's not quite there. It's like, well, 98%, but it'll go in my favor. No, it won't. Actually, 2 years ago, we walked in and got a $1,900 jackpot in about 1 minute. And then I was just like, all bets are off. Haha, let's go. Let's play this. Oh, let's play tables. Let's jump on this. Oh, this one's open. I always wanted to play this. And just $500 just lit on fire. And yes, I could have won. There's not a 100% loss rate. I mean, I'm still smart about what I play and how much I play. But I was just like, well, we made quote unquote enough. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that there's no amount of money that is enough, but before you go play something for fun, stuff's getting really expensive. You ever notice like table limits are like $5, $10, $15 per hand now? Per spot on roulette, per location on craps? That can go real quick. And a lot of stuff, it's like, oh, $1 a spin minimum. Wow. Well, 100 spins is $100. If you don't hit the bonus, you're out. Yes, you could keep winning. Probability would suggest you don't. Now, the other thing is a 90% return to player slot, okay? Your average, just whatever blah slot. You jump on it, you start playing. Well, we made 1,000 already, and it's 90%. I'll risk 100, because I could win more. What if I hit it early, and it looks like fun, and I enjoy this one, and I'm here to have a good time? Nothing wrong with that. It's just every time you cycle your money one time, it is a 10% loss on average. If you don't hit the bonus, it's usually a 100% loss, depending upon the style of machine. And whatever you think the return to player is, double it, because usually about 5 to 10% is what we call the top heavy tax. That's a machine where like, oh, well, when you hit the major, it's $500 to $1,000, and that happens, what, every 1,000 spins or whatever. So if you do the math, it's like, oh, so the return to player, if I don't get the major, I don't get the grand, I don't get a giant, 5-way X2 multiplied crazy line pay within the bonus, which is like, 1 to 2 to 3,000, we'll say, well, then the rest of the machine's results table is like 80% return to player. So once again, we call that a top heavy machine, and it's most machines. And if you're saying, no, I know that this is a 94% return to player machine because I've seen the sheet and they don't sell it any lower than that, so I'm quote unquote safe. Well, the effective RTP is probably a lot lower if you exclude miracle results, as we call them. And it's not like 1 in a million I won the $100,000 grand, because that's usually 0.01% of the RTP. But there's some machines that are real jackpot and high result heavy, where if you don't get them, you don't get that 1 in 5,000, 1 in 10,000 result, then the return to player might as well have been 70% on that machine because it's so jackpot heavy. So don't think that, 94%, I'm only going to lose 6%. It almost never works that way. Except for very simplistic old machines or ones with no bonuses. Like if you've seen the giant one that's like the size of a school bus called Colossal, that's one of those you can just grind, you can just play it for fun. I do it all the time. Because sometimes you win 20, 30, 60 bucks and $100 and that's it. It's $5 a spin, and there's no bonuses, there's nothing, and the highest jackpot you can win on there is $2,000. That is a safe machine. That is the one where the return to player is going to be pretty normal, and the like, oh wow, I got crystal 10x, that probably happens 1 in every 100,000 spins. It is a negligible percentage of the payback outlay, the table of results. So a little mini lesson there about like how RTP isn't set in stone. I was going to make that its own video, but I think I pretty much just explained it. So if you are going to play something quote just for fun because, how bad could it be, or this is a really good RTP machine, make sure you're actually correct about that. And then, like I said, every time you suck your money, you just got kicked in the nuts for whatever the reasonable, actual, practical margin is that ignores miracle results, or outliers as we call them. So how many times you suck your money and how top heavy it is with like an unrealistic jackpot that you probably, and I mean literally probability wise, will not hit. Some slots might get more expensive than you think. I would personally just switch to AP stuff, but I know darn well as soon as we sweep enough times that we're up like a grand plus, we're going to play a couple things just for fun because it is New Year's and we work all year, dang it. But that said, you don't want to show up, on like January 15th and be like, man, there's just nothing at this casino. There's no crowds. Nobody spends money in January and February. Okay, that is a universal law of business. Don't even spend anything on advertising. Everybody just blew up all their money on Christmas. Nobody even touches their bank account for anything other than exercise equipment and gym memberships in January. And that usually extends into February. And if you look at like the debt markets and the debt averages and stuff right now, people are running up debt like crazy because of inflation. It's especially stupid young people. So, yeah. I think we're going to see it reach into March as far as people just not spending money. Which means they don't go to casinos. So it is going to be a ghost town. So don't show up and be like, man, we really wish I didn't spend 20, 30 minutes or an hour playing dumb stuff that I lost on at the casino when I could have kept AP sweeping. It's like I could have gone a little bit further. I could have tried a little bit harder. I could have walked around one more time. But I decided to be lazy and take the easy road out and just take a break and have fun. If you own a retail location on Black Friday, every customer, every time, work hard, go faster, skip lunch, 12-hour shift, let's go. Trust me, I did. Because every single customer is more money and they're already in the door, they're already there. You want to go 110% maximum all day, every day, because that is your one chance in the year to make as much money as possible. Don't burn out, don't get lazy. Now, if you're like, that sounds like a job, I'm a casual, I'm going to be at the casino anyway, I just want to use some AP tricks, that's a whole different thing. Or if you're like retired, you do this as a hobby, it is what it is. If everything I just said is very distasteful to you, then just ignore it all. It all depends upon how much money you want to make, what you're okay with, what your work ethic level is, if you even consider it work. If you're just like, well, I want to play some stuff that I want to play because it's fun and it's, whatever, I'm going to be out with my family, just kind of partying. I want to stop at the restaurant, get some food for an hour, They're doing a one-time plated dinner for $65 or something. Look into that, by the way. Look up all the different deals and stuff. And then another tip I had in my notes was bring your own food. Throw something in the car, some little, high density, high calorie, whatever. I wouldn't say like a full-blown survival food bar thing or something, but, something with a good balance of protein, vitamins, just like something good. You could just bring a submarine sandwich, just like wrap up some Subway or something. I mean, you got the different food groups on there if you do it right. But expect that a restaurant is just a boat anchor that's going to cost you money. Not only is it going to literally cost you money, but it's going to cost you time, which is money. There aren't that many hours between 8 o'clock and midnight. But if you're like, well, we'll just pop in and they got this per plate thing, and they're like, well, we're sold out. We're sold out of seats, so there's a 1 hour wait. Well, now you're hungry and tired and have been walking around and working for 3 hours. Now what? Nothing's open. Nobody wants to drive anywhere with all the drunk idiots or lose some more time driving, and it's just lost time. And then you're scrambling, you're high stress, and it's just a bad situation. Just have water, have drinks in case they run out of soda or all the soda things break or they run out of cups. I have seen everything, trust me. Have your own water bottle in the car, ready to just send it. Have your own food, have a backup place to sleep, just like be prepared for everything because you want to maximize this. Now, the other thing, and this is obvious, but my gosh, have I seen people do it, you have several weeks now to plan and put aside, and I don't care if you got to put something in the pawn shop the day before. You want to bring so much liquid cash and secure it. If you're going to put it in your car to split it in case there's a pickpocket, which bring anti-pickpocket pants, with like a double thing, or like tie it, or a custom modded wallet, or like a high friction thing, like one of those silicone fireproof bags where it's difficult for you to pull it out of your pocket. Those are actually neat. I like those. You get ones that are like a dollar bill shape. Like they're like 5 by 8 or something. You can fit them in larger pockets, and they're so high friction that you have trouble pulling it out. Make that your backup reserve. And then your wallet or money clip or whatever is like in your back pocket instead of a low pocket. And there are better resources online right now on YouTube for like how to not get pickpocketed or how to avoid it, mitigate it. Tight clothing, double modified pockets, and just that kind of stuff. But if you're going to leave something in your car, you can get a little gun safe with like a little tie thing. I forgot who makes it. It's a really common manufacturer of guns. They also make a safe. It is $20. I think it's Smith & Wesson, actually. It has a cable on it, like a cut-proof steel cable. And if you can tie that somewhere to the chassis of your car, usually it would be as close as you can get it somewhere in the trunk. Something that like secures the spare tire. Or just stuff it under the spare tire, go full like drug smuggler, basically. Put it up underneath the dash in the steering rack, and then put a little sign that like a sticky note that reminds you it's there, so you don't have it in the way while you're trying to drive and forget it's there. Or bolt it to the chassis, like I said, it'll be just loop the cable around like the thing that holds on your passenger chair. Unless somebody's going to be sitting in it, might adjust the chair and then sever the cable. Or, well, after that cable, I'd more likely break your seat. That is more likely what would happen in a shearing event. So in New Year's, if someone's going to be breaking into cars, it'd be really stupid to do it in the casino. There's usually, security making the rounds. But if there's not, or if somebody's bold enough to try it, just do a smash, grab, run. And as soon as they see someone, they're like in the woods or whatever. Yeah, watch out. You want to make sure that you're not susceptible to that type of thing. But have enough liquid cash. The ATMs are going to run out. The next day is considered a holiday, and let me check if it's a weekend. No, it's a Wednesday night into Thursday. So a lot of banks will let you take out $1,000 on your debit card from your checking only per 24 hours resetting at midnight. Some it's midnight Eastern time for some reason instead of local time. Some of them consider the weekend to be one big long day, and you can't exceed $1,000 for the whole weekend, even if it did cross over midnight. Know the policies, know the limits, or just bring a boatload of cash and assume that the ATMs are going to run out of it because they do. And the banks aren't open after, 5 o'clock. And the banks aren't open the next day. So know what the limits and terms are on all of your debit cards. It's really smart just in general, especially if you travel to multiple casinos, to have 2 bank accounts. I've got a credit union that's kind of local. I mean, they're gigantic, but they're not exactly nationwide. They're worth, I think, over $10 billion, but it's still, they're not in every town. They're not in every city, and they're certainly not in like Las Vegas, which was the problem. I mean, I'm bringing what I'm bringing in liquid cash if I go to Vegas, and that's the end of it. If something goes wrong, oh well. I ain't grabbing more, because if I had more, I would have already brought it. So if I hit my limit, it's because I hit my limit and it was a disaster. But since I only attempt things that are within my bankroll and within my means, that basically never happens. But if I saw an opportunity that's above it and I got no one to call, I might be tempted to try it myself, because there is a lot of money on the line there. You might say, well, $20 to spend on Ascending Fortune, I'd never do that. But what if you saw the red, the mega, at 3 away? It is playable at 20 away. You're probably going to 800% your money, but it's $20 a spin. So every $100 bill is 5 spins. You're going to be in for probably hundreds of spins. In all likelihood, probably I think 400. 400 times 20 is $8,000, but I would never forget it if I walked past that. If I had to walk away with that. So bring as many people, as much money, backup money in the car, secure it, whatever you can do. And then on top of it, just in case, now I say do not play with borrowed money, but just in case, if you know that money's coming back, if you saw $100 a spin scarab, it's on 6 out of 10 and it's already maxed out 4 columns, you know there is a 100% chance that within 4 spins, although that's $400, bad example, but you are going to get it, okay? You are going to get your money back. In that very rare specific case, I would have no problem getting out 4 different credit cards and running either 500 or 1,000, depending upon the limit, at the ATM. You're going to pay an ATM fee each time. You're going to pay a upfront, usually 2.5% fee on the balance. It's that all comes into play. But wouldn't it have just been easier to have an extra $3,000 hidden or locked up in your car? Or just have it in your wallet just in case? And the answer is yes. So don't just say, well, I'll roll up with 1,000, but I can pull 1,000 from my 2 different bank accounts. I mean, that's smart. That's a good start. Or, oh, I'll just take an advance at the cage with a really, really long line. And how do you lock up the machine? And what if while you're getting the cash advance, somebody else plays the machine? Like, there's all these things where you could have just had the money on you and things are much simpler. You make a tactical, mature decision, do the math correctly, know the risk versus reward, and don't play with more than you can afford to lose in case it goes wrong. But if you see a for sure thing where you are like, this is 1,000% return to player, it's above what I would normally play, I need an extra 2,000 to hit this. In that case where it's like a once in a lifetime thing, you're going to want to have the means to do it. That's when I would just pay someone I don't even know if I didn't bring a crew to hold that chair for me. Just find someone who looks like they lost all the money and be like, hey, you hold this machine for me for just a little bit. I got to run, just tell them to the bathroom or something. Or like, I don't know, run to the ATM, whatever. Don't tell them there's a giant pile of money in your car, okay? Especially if you don't know them and they're not playing because they're probably the type that doesn't have money. And just be like, yo, sit here, I'll be back. And then you're playing that thing out. And if you were going to find a setup like that, look, rich people go to the casinos on New Year's. Just saying. That's like their one night out. They probably know about what the year end at the business they own or the business they just sold when they retired is, or their investments just went up for the year. They got the quarterly, or, you know, Christmas didn't cost them as much as they thought or whatever. And they're just like, let's go to the casino with 20 grand. And they play high limit and they leave some crazy number on some crazy thing. If any time that would happen, it would be on New Year's. So you want to have the most ammunition to take a shot at that type of thing on you. If it's not on you, know how all your stuff works. Know what the limits are. Know which ones let you do cash. Know what the ATM fees are. Fit it all into the calculation and don't play stuff that's close and don't play long run stuff with borrowed money or a stretch over what you can afford. That's why I said, if you go pawn something real expensive for, let's be honest, 2 days, the interest on 2 days at a pawn shop is like pennies. It is like nothing. It is like a fraction of a percent. I wouldn't go to one of those quickie loan stores, okay? But, and I know people used to do that if they found something that's way bigger than they could afford, but they're like, I want to hit this because this is basically a sure thing. It's darn good motivation where you feel like if I can't pay this back, I'm going to have them up my butt calling me with all these fees. I'm never going to pay it off. Pretty good motivation to play it straight and not, you know, play with money that you don't own and stuff. But that said, I'd avoid that just because fees, one more thing to do and all that. When you've got an entire month to get, you know, sell some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, I wouldn't say borrow money from family members because don't do that. If you run into them at the casino, they're going to have questions. You probably have to lie to them to get it and just, you don't want to get anywhere near that. Just get liquid paper cash one way or another, cascading from like the best way to get it to the lowest way. So either do more work or sell stuff you don't need around the house or get rid of those old power tools that you never need or just, you know, whatever. You've got weeks and weeks and weeks to be able to bring double what you would normally bring to the casino, so do it. There's no excuses. That's why I'm telling you, like, just in case, know how to stretch your stuff a little bit further if you see a dream setup on something, because you don't want to miss out on that. And it's always okay to just walk away. Just be like, well, I can't hit it. That's triple what I brought with me. I just don't have the means or a way to hit it. Oh, well, cool. There are other options, though, and I'm going to go into that at the end of this episode, so you're going to want to watch that, because that's where it gets into some weird stuff that I don't usually talk about. Some, like, commissions and seat selling and, like, you know, big fish stuff, and, like, yeah, well, it's going to get real interesting. But you never want to walk in saying, man, I wish I brought enough to play that. Oh, I could have done this. I could have oh, man. I got 2 pounds worth of silver bars. I could have sold them and then just rebought them. Oh, that sucks. You could sell this stuff on Facebook on like an hour. People got bots. It's not the kind of thing you want to think of a week out, and it's not the kind of thing that you want to just not do at all. We're like, oh yeah, I could have done that to bring more. Oh, crap. If it's even just, I'm not going to spend stuff, or I'm going to, just get like rice noodles and whatever at the grocery store, because that's usually where I, spend my paper cash. I'm just going to buy cheaper stuff that has like an infinite shelf life and then just cook myself and not go out to eat. And then all of a sudden, oh, look at this. I got an extra $500 to bring. Cool. Because the more you bring, the more swings you can take at more expensive stuff. And this is your opportunity to hit stuff that will not be there. You will not stumble across it on any other regular day because the right crowd isn't there. So bring as much money as you possibly can for as reasonable and responsible as you can do it, and then have a backup plan and know how your stuff works if you're willing to go a little bit past that. You know what I mean? With like cash advances and stuff. Know the casino's policies, know your card's policies, know the ATM fees, know when it resets, know what they consider to be 24 hours, know all of that ahead of time. And you'll need to know and use a lot less of that if you're just responsible and bring more money with proper planning ahead of time. And if you got $50K in the bank in savings, just go to the bank and actually do bring it. Like I'm talking about like all the, borderline brokies who can, barely afford to live, which is a lot of the AP people. If you're just like rich retarded and you think AP is kind of fun and that's why you're watching this and on my channel, just literally go to the bank and bring the damn money, because you can't go to the bank at midnight. Okay, you can't even go to the bank the next day. It's New Year's. They're closed. You have to literally just go get the money. And like I said, buy a safe, find a way to hide it, but like go on eBay right now and buy a $7 fireproof bag, stuff it under your spare tire in your car, and there you go. Don't tell anybody it's there. And then you got your own little bank. You don't have to run to the bank. You just got to run to the parking garage. I am telling you, that is the number one mistake people make, is they're like, well, I could always grab more. Oh, all the ATMs are down. Or there's a line, then the line is going to be 30 minutes. And then there's a line at the cage and I can't lock up the machine that long. Oh, I'm going to lose this. So now I'm wasting time not hitting other stuff, and it just all spirals into this disaster and they end up missing it. Bring paper money with you. Now, if you're going to have people on your crew and you're splitting the money, cool, do it as soon as possible. Make sure you trust them, make sure you got eyes on them, that kind of stuff. Family members, people you've known for 10 years, it's really the only people that I'd let on my crew. And even then, I got my eye on them because every single person but one has completely backstabbed me or just not followed the rules. And then split it up, be good to go. Make sure you got the change, make sure you got the math, and play ticket to ticket and tell people to take pictures of their tickets, or just do not let eyes off them. If you're in your hotel room, it's 2 a.m., you're like, oh man, I'm tired. And they go, I'm going to run down there one more time, because you went to the restaurant, you ran to the gas station for a sandwich, whatever. And they're like, I'm just going to sweep one more time. Yeah, guess what? You're going with them. Because they're like, oh, I don't go to a casino this often, or this is the big night, or whatever. Maybe, yeah, it's just they got a work ethic and they're like, there's more to be made, but they're a very disciplined person who really understands the math. Or they're going to go do $50 spins on Wheel of Fortune and then lie about it. The balance doesn't add up, and the next day you have an awkward conversation about where the hell the money went. Guess if that happened to me or not. Guess if George is still on my crew or not. And if you're watching, screw you, George. Work with people you can trust. Make sure they know the numbers as well as you, or they stick near you because they're new to it. People who are new to it, they will make a couple mistakes, but not if you tell them exactly how to play, what to scout. And if they're new to it, go there like a day or two ahead of time. The day before New Year's, there is nobody at the casino. You can just walk around and, oh, this one, that one, yeah, hey. Now, with your crew, assuming you're not running solo, which would be, really difficult and just generally bad. This is the one night where you just have to have a crew. You can go solo if you're experienced, you know what you're doing, you're not intimidated by crowds and this kind of stuff, but like it's so much easier to lock up stuff and have eyes everywhere if you have eyes everywhere. Now, if you can make twice as much money, but there's 2 people on your crew and you're splitting it, then you just net gain nothing. So I could see it either way, but I'm used to working with the team. Now, if they were sick the day before and couldn't go, I'm going solo. Fine, cool, more money for me. It doesn't bother me. It's just I'm gonna have to work twice as fast, walk twice as fast, work twice as hard, and have half the money. It is what it is. But have a meetup spot and have a quiet spot. You want to have either or. If there's a big thing, I'd say don't assume your cell phone's going to work, but these days with like the 5G and how many people can jump on that, but you might be out in a remote area, and then you might not be able to count on the Wi-Fi for Wi-Fi calling and Wi-Fi texting, because that many people are going to try to jump on the free guest Wi-Fi and just absolutely nuke it. So don't assume that'll work, but if you have good signal, test that ahead of time, obviously. Like if they have a metal roof, you're in trouble. But, if you're at a casino where you can't lock up machines, you can't hit reserve for 15, 30, 1 hour, minutes, whatever, or you aren't at the level that'll let you do that, or they don't offer that, you aren't going to find staff to sit there and watch your machine for 20 minutes while you go find somebody else who has the rest of the money or knows the numbers on that machine. Or if you want to get somebody in on a group poll because it's a little bit higher, you just want to cut them in or just whatever. Then you can walk around, find them. You can't text them because the Wi-Fi is down and you can't get phone signal. Okay, that's a problem. So you'd have to walk outside to text them and then hope they get it. And it's like this whole thing. So you might say every couple minutes, every time you make a lap, we meet up right here by this statue, by this thing, by this corner, by the, as we call it in Wisconsin, bubbler. You might call it water fountain. Or every 15, every 30 minutes, or if we lose each other, we meet by the bathrooms, the front bathrooms, or the front desk, or the hallway, or the front door. And then you want a quiet place to discuss stuff. You don't want the roar of the crowds and the music and the people bumping into you while you have a discussion in the middle of the hallway. You want to find the quietest area, and you only really know that once you're there, but scout it out, walk around and say, well, this looks good. I don't think anybody would have a reason to be back here. Let's meet up here and have a discussion about, should we hit this? Should we go for that? What opportunity is here? Do you want to camp this one? What's close? You got to be able to hear each other, and you want nobody else to hear you. So have a meetup spot, have a quiet spot, and they can be the same. And normally our meetup spot where we discuss stuff, we count our money. That's another big thing. It's just a table you can count your money, and you want as little people seeing that as possible. That's always, for us, the VIP lounge. The VIP lounge had about 500 people in it last time, I think, because they set up a free buffet in there for all VIP members, of which I believe 105% of them showed up, so my gosh. For us, it was the sports betting area. We thought we could meet up there, and that didn't really work because even though there was no sports going on at midnight, people were still in there because they got a couple machines, and some people wanted to make bets for the Sunday, games, and it was just a place to sit in a quiet area away, and they were serving food, which was a reason that everybody went in there. So our meetup spot was elsewhere. And don't try to have a meeting in the bathroom. First of all, that's weird. Secondly, people are going to overhear you because of the acoustics. And third, there's going to be a lot of people in there all night. Now, let's say you get in at 2:30, most of the people left at 1, you swept everything, every state is wiped out, the other AP players, which are all going to be there that night, I guarantee it, they all went to bed or left. You wake up the next morning at 9 o'clock, ready to go, and now what? B site. You want to hit the B site. If there is another casino within driving distance, I don't know, an hour, hit it. Very, very low likelihood anything will be there, but you can go to the most distant in the smallest city with the least amount of people. Because would a professional Advantage player be there when they have, 100, 200, 300 machines and only a couple hundred people? Or would they be at the really big one that you actually went to? Well, everybody's going to the big one. You might have 1 or 2 people at the small one, or crews might split up, you never know. But it's probably less tryhards, less professionals, and you're going to be able to go there and just wipe stuff out in the morning for the people who stayed up really late. A lot of people are like, hey, I'm up 1,000, I'm going to throw 500 at this one thing. And then they leave, they run out, or they run completely out of money. They brought 1,000, they're down 8. They're like, screw it, it's 3 a.m, let's throw, all the rest at this thing. And they drive up the count on Magic Treasures to 18. They don't hit anything and they jump off. The last, I'm going to throw all my money at something that costs way too much without really knowing what I'm doing, and I'm drunk and hungover, 3 a.m. crowd are going to exist. So what you want to do, if you can, is the next morning plan to hit Site B, which would be a smaller casino farther away, not in a big city. Sweep it, run through it. It's going to be tedious. You're going to be tired. It is what it is, whatever, it's more money. Now, the number one target would be one that isn't open 24 hours, which is the overwhelming majority of smaller casinos. So if they closed at 1, they closed at 2, they closed at bar close, whatever, and then they're going to open either not even the next day at all, which that would make your plans a little bit rough. Well, let's say they open the next day at 8 in or 10 in. Well, then you want to be there at that one because people played right up until the close. Then they announce, hey, we're closing. And everybody's like, oh, cool. Yeah, I've been here a while. I'm going to go to my room or go to whatever. You want to be there 5 minutes before the door opens. Trust me. Because there are so many states when everybody leaves at once. Now it wasn't New Year's, but this happened to one of my friends who was on my crew, and he was visiting friends in Kansas. Or I think it was a family get-together. I don't remember. And he went to this real big one in Kansas because he followed my tips, and I said, well, there's this concert there. There's some get-together, some conference. I don't remember what it was. So there's going to be huge crowds. He's like, whoa, cool, I'm going to go late because me and my family be done at 10 o'clock. So I'm sleeping over their place. I'm just going to tell them I'm running out to the casino a little bit, and then I'll come back. Well, they ended up closing, I think, at either midnight or 1 o'clock. So the people all played right up until close, and then they all left. And he goes, well, it was chaotic, and everyone was walking around, and And then right when it was thinning out a little bit because they were getting close to close, I started hitting stuff, and then they're like, sir, you got to leave, we're closing. He was like, crap. So like I had to set an alarm. I got 6 hours of sleep. I got up at 8 a.m. and I went back and I hit all the machines. But man, that sucked because then I was tired the whole next day. It was kind of miserable hanging out with my family because I didn't want to do anything. And then I had to take a nap, and they're like, what's wrong with you? You're clearly a degenerate gambler. So, funny separate anecdote, but what you don't want to do is, one, have that happen to you, know what the hours are, obviously. And then, two, find a casino that does work that way. And that's your B site, because if people play all the way up until midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then they close, then all the best things to hit are going to be when they reopen, whenever that is. So know when it is, and don't believe, if they have it posted on their website or Facebook, cool. Otherwise, don't believe like Google listings or anything. They're usually out of date, they're wrong, they're estimations, they're third party. Just call them up on the phone and ask them. Half the time they got it on their website and then they changed their mind and forgot to change it on the website. These are small casinos. They do not have their crap together. So one, know that if that's you, if that's the one you're going to, know that and know when they reopen. And then two, find other ones that don't reopen or that don't run 24 hours that day and then hit them in the morning. You'd be surprised what you can find. If there were no AP players or they all were like, 12:30, I'm done. Oh, people say there aren't free buffets anymore. Free buffet where they give out nothing but money right there. When you got a free run of the casino because nobody's there at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. after New Year's, oh, baby. Do make sure they're actually open, though. And kind of goes without saying, but make sure you got a full tank of gas. Most people aren't that dumb, but I figured I'd mention it. I put it in my notes. Now, as for what to hit and when. Let's say you walk past a 22 on Magic Treasures Dragon, which, I keep saying that one because that's like the classic long run one. Actually, you can fast spin that one about 1 per second. So 100 seconds, 100 spins. It may be long run, but is it time long run? Hexbreaker 3, Wolf Run Eclipse, or my favorite, that stupid voodoo doll thing. Just keep in mind, that's a long run one. All those are because it's either 1,000 plus spins to get something, or on the voodoo one, you can't fast spin it. You technically can fast spin it, it's just not fast enough. The line pays pause the machine for like 3 seconds. You can stop the reels real quick, but then it's like you can get in one spin every 7-8 seconds, I think, on that thing on average. You don't win every time, but it's just so agonizingly slow. You cannot spend an hour on one machine. I don't care what the setup is. You walk up and it says 30-30. Cool. That is virtually guaranteed money, but the go-off chance doesn't scale on that one. So you have the same chance at any number that you did before, as far as I remember. So you could be in for 500 very, very slow spins. You took an entire hour. You obviously can't jump off the machine, and now you missed hitting 50 other machines. You just lost your money. I don't care how good the setup is. 30-30 is a damn good setup on that one. Doesn't matter because you could have hit 30 other Ultimate X and Scarab and Golden Egypt combo machines, but you spent 1/5 of the entire time at the casino that night on one single thing chasing, astronomical numbers. If it's 30 minutes after midnight, people are starting to leave and you see a crazy setup on it, but people are starting to leave, which is when you want to hit everything. That is the blitz time. That is when you go, all hands on deck. Reserve the machine. If your casino lets you do it, reserve the machine. Make sure everybody knows. Either have a sitter who's like out of money, they're your spotter, they're your scout, they're new to it. They're old, they're young, whatever, whoever it is, have them just sit there for an hour. Just somebody that you're paying to be your assistant. Don't even teach them AP. Just have them be literally your personal assistant for the night. And just be like, hey, sit in this chair. I'll give you an extra 50. Pff, done. Oh, just sit in the thing, watch YouTube, catch Pokemon, whatever, on your phone, And if somebody complains, just say, I'm holding it for someone else. There may be no machine holding or no idle sitting. They might have a rule for that. But if people are starting to leave, they're going to be loose on it. And you could give them $500 to buy in and just start pressing if somebody complains. Just be like, oh, no, I'll play it, cool. And then just as slow as can possibly be while they're texting you telling, hey, we're blown, come to this one. While they're doing 30-cent, 60-cent spins at a reasonable pace and pointing at everything. Oh, look at that line pay. It's like 3-1. Yay! Taking a picture of it like a complete idiot. Train them in the art of playing slow, trust me. And then that gets security off their back. Where they're like, hey, either play or get up. Well, then play. Don't get up. Getting up is never the answer. Saying that you're holding it for someone else, oh, that's trouble. Do not do that. Casinos, security, slot techs, all them, they already do not like advantage players. Don't give them another reason. Where you're costing them money by sitting there holding something while they go rip off someone else and make everybody else lose more by resetting the RTPs to the lowest possible state. And then hitting one, so you're costing them double, you're costing a seat. It's bad. So what time to actually get there? I don't know if I answered that. It depends. Like I said, early in the day, if you want to walk around, you want to scout stuff, you want to whatever, you want to pre-wipe everything so that everything's at the lowest possible state to, one, dissuade other advantage players who are going to get there kind of early-ish. And then two, if somebody's going to set average states on Ultimate X, you don't want them starting with a couple multipliers. So you want to wipe out everything. So if you can do it, and you can work a 14-hour shift, or you can get there at 3 o'clock, then get into your hotel at 4 or 5 o'clock, crash for a little bit and just chill, or, like I said, get up at 2 in the afternoon so you're ready to go and basically it's the morning for you. Whatever you got to do, but let's say none of that goes. When should you get there for the optimal crowd? I would say 9 or 10 o'clock. Depends on the size and the walking area and what the density is going to be. As soon as people who don't know what they're doing are there playing, you want to be there. So like as long as you can tolerate as early as you can get there with enough sleep, enough food, enough water, enough energy, that is the answer. Now, that said, we showed up at like 6, 7 o'clock and we couldn't even walk through the place, couldn't get on a single machine. Every single machine in the entire place, sparing a couple that people really hate, was occupied by a person. It was annoying. It was record numbers. And it didn't work. We couldn't make any money. So we're just sitting there in a loud, obnoxious crowd, not able to go anywhere or do anything, and just waiting. Well, that's not what I came for. Does that mean you should roll up at 11 o'clock? No. You just got to deal with it. Either go to a casino that's big enough that it won't have that problem, which is very few of them, or make something else happen. But I wouldn't show up at like 12:30 at night. It's just, it's going to have to play by ear really, but don't show up at like 3 in the afternoon just because you can. Because you're like, I don't know, let's go there early. You will get bored. You will get tired. It's not a good idea. Generally, I'd say roll up after dinner. A lot of people eat dinner for free, or they go to the casino for dinner, then they hit the casino. So, 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Now, you want to focus on get on, get off, high profit ones, like Golden Egypt, where you just cycle through and you check them out. Now, cycling through Golden Egypt and then Scarab and then Ultimate X, then Bonus Streak on like, I actually don't remember. I think it's All-Star 2 machines or Superstar 3. It is tedious, it is time wasting, and it's really obvious what you're doing with a lot of witnesses. So don't say, oh, that's a fast check machine if it's a fast check machine times 100 states that you have to check, and then it's not actually a fast check machine. Like Buffalo Ascension, you walk past it. You just look, numbers, done. That's a fast check machine. You don't have to buy in. You don't have to do nothing. It's just there it is. So I think Advanced AP Tricks, if you haven't seen that episode, I mentioned, you can just check the last played state. So if you just want to speed through a machine where it has like nickels and there's 10 different pay tables, then dimes, 10 different pay tables on Ultimate X, and you don't want to check them all, well, on New Year's, what you want to do is short check the machine, as we call it. So you walk up and you just go, which one has a highlight on it? Oh, 10 cent, 5-line, double. So you walk up and go, tap and look at that one, because that's the one that the people played. Now, people tend to not jump around. They tend to just play whatever one they know. So what we'll usually do is just, one, assume people play double, but two, just like check the last one played. We'll just go boop, and then we'll go 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent in case they were going up and down in bet amount. And if there's something we played, if there's nothing we don't, and then we get up, we don't check the rest of the machine because it's just going to take too long. Now, as far as, like I said, checking the machine in a really heavy crowd where there's people all around you, that's something you wouldn't normally do, but on New Year's, it's a little different. Because on New Year's, all bets are off for anything involving courtesy or like proper advantage play. You're never going to see these people again. They're all drunk. Who cares? They're not even from the area. They go to a casino once a year. If you're going to walk and check Ultimate X multipliers directly sitting between two people, oh well. It's money time and you don't know them and they don't know you, oh well. If they ask what you're doing, to say, oh, it's bad strategy to stop or to start from like nothing on there. So I always just play one, if I see someone else's multipliers, I'll start playing from there. And they're like, oh, wow, some min-maxing idiot. Well, I know how to play double, and that's all I play. So cool. Or just saying, I don't know, my friend told me to do this. I have no idea why. It's superstition, and we do it and we always win. Or, lo siento, no hablo inglés. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter. Don't be one of the dicks that just sits down and somebody's like, what are you doing to that machine? And you just ignore them. They're going to call security on you. Other than that, the whole no witnesses thing, the whole don't check a machine within one space of someone, all these like common courtesy etiquette things that AP players do. Some of them do. Upcoming episode, by the way. Yeah, it's all goes out the window for New Year's. Now, don't lock up 4 machines in a thing, okay? The staff will, they will tell you about that. Playing 2 at once, absolute no-no, okay? The only way you're playing 2 at once is by bringing a second person because they will say something. That's allowed if the casino's not maxed out. If they are maxed out on people, you're just costing them money, sort of, and you're just being rude. People behind you are going to complain about it. All you need is a complaint is like, oh, the AP players, the top level members are causing problems again. And then you get kicked out or threatened or they rip up your card. Or, like, you don't want to push that far. Other than that, the whole no witnesses thing out the window. So the shortest check machines as possible. And you can check Ultimate X pretty quick. You just click on it, is there something there? But to check everyone, it's really obvious what you're doing. And people might question it or report you to staff regardless of what you say or if they, are sitting next to you. They could just be behind you and be like, that guy was doing something funny to the machines. Or that guy's breaking the buttons or he's trying to hack the machine. I've heard everything at this point. It takes too long to check those machines. And if you got a bank of 4 of them, you could be looking at like 15, 20 minutes. And you probably can't get on all 4 of them. You don't want to lock them up. And there's going to be witnesses next to you. Now you walk up to Penguin Palace, video coming soon here. And you check it, boom, 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 boom. Next bet, boom, 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 boom. You're there. Buffalo Ascension, you either tap the thing once or you just walk past it. I mean, you want to talk about easy. And Buffalo Ascension might seem long run, but you can fast spin that about 2 spins a second, I believe. So there's long run mathematically, and then there's long run chronologically. Like how much time is it actually going to take to wipe out this machine? If you can still do 100 spins in a minute or something, it ain't a long run machine. So I'm going to be walking past Buffalo Ascension all the time. I might even camp it. So camping is where you sit somewhere, you stand somewhere that's not in people's way, that has full line of sight, which is very difficult on New Year's Eve. And you watch for someone to get off. Now, you want to be as close to the machine as possible because there might be someone else watching it, okay? Sometimes I'll sit down to the machine next to them, do 1 spin, mess around, check my player points, whatever, and then wait for them to get off. Sometimes, and this is borderline, you could effectively, quote, drive someone off a machine by sitting down next to them with all your friends and your crew acting super loud, drunk, tapping the screen, asking them questions every time you get a 3x line paid to, hey, look at that, I got the Buffalo, tap him on the shoulder, look what I got. Maybe make it an interesting environment that they don't want to be a part of anymore. And when they jump off the machine, then you jump on their machine or you have somebody else from your crew intercept it. Look, I don't do stuff like that anymore. I think it's rude. I think it's obnoxious. I at least, bare minimum, do not do it at my home casino. In Vegas, that was pretty much just how we did things because we were in Vegas for the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And if we wanted someone off a machine and we didn't care if that casino kicked us out because we're, in theory, never coming back again, well, all bets are off. A fat, sweaty, loud friend encroaching on the person's personal space and being loud and obnoxious, they could go play anywhere else. We're having people on my crew bump into their chair. We're like standing directly behind them while they get really loud and cheer me on at about 110 decibels. Like whatever we had to do to get rid of that person, because I don't know them, I don't care. If the casino knows what we're doing, they kick us out. I'm never coming back. Who cares? It's rude, it's not a nice thing to do, but it gets results. So depends how good the setup was, and if I was trying to hold the machine or I put a chair there and then they tipped it back and played on it anyway, then guess what? But to me, just generally, that's crossing the line. I don't usually do stuff like that. So if you want to implement that tactic, you do you. Like I said, I'm not planning to do it. I just figured I'd mention it. And it works 10 times more if they're old, because old people hate noise, they hate overstimulation, they hate people having fun, they hate other people winning, they just hate happiness in general, in my experience. Or they're the coolest people ever to play next to. It's one or the other. But yeah, we've seen some heavy states where I walked to go get someone because they weren't monitoring their phone for some reason, Shane. And I wanted or needed to go 50-50 on something with them. We're at a casino where you can't lock up machines. I'm like, well, nobody will grab this. And I'm not going to tilt a chair. Don't do that. That's actually against every casino's insurance requirements, believe it or not, because it could cause an injury to the elderly, to drunk people, and to anybody on a motorized scooter or a walker. So if the staff at the typical casino sees that on a busy night, they will tip the chair right back. You are not allowed to do that at pretty much any casino. They just let it fly if they don't have a reservation system or they just don't enforce it. But yeah, if you effectively shut down a machine on New Year's too, whether they enforce it or not, they're going to tip that chair back. Because now nobody can play at that machine and everybody's pissed and nobody can walk through the aisles even more. And don't print your own fake reserve sign. They will kick you out on the spot. I've actually heard of somebody doing that. That is idiotic. But yeah, if somebody jumped on the machine we were just going to play because of all those circumstances, we're going to scare them off, as it were. We're going to make the one next to them and the area around them very loud and obnoxious, because at that point, we're just kind of mad in general at the situation. That was quote unquote our machine. We're going to play it at $8. You're playing at 80 cents and wasting our time, and we want to get to it. The more appropriate way to do that is just have somebody camp it. Have somebody sit as close as they can, stand as close as they can. The second they get up, jump on it, or say, hey, that's actually my really favorite one. I'll give you $20 to jump off it. That's called buying a seat. People will initially be like, oh, is this some kind of scam? Is like, what are they going to ask me for money? Or like, what? Huh? They want to offer me cash to play at that one. If they like question it, you're like, hey, that's like my favorite slot. We're kind of on our way back to the room. We're all getting tired. I wanted to play it. Can I just give you like $50 and then I can play it? Nobody in their right mind is going to say no to that. Okay. Just keep in mind that comes out as a percentage from your potential wins. But normally I would not do this. This is rude AP stuff. I know we've all seen people do it on YouTube. I'm not going to name names, but I think we know like 3 or 4 people that always do this because they think it's funny and haha funny content. Haha everyone's a peasant but me. Haha I'm so edgy. Where your butt is in the seat the second their cheeks leave it. Like just you get as close as you can so that nobody snipes you on it, which sniping is an old eBay bidding term where somebody last seconds you before you can get in, you know. Probably don't need to explain it, but yeah, other APers, other campers, you want to get there before them. So I wouldn't like run because casino staff will not like you running through the casino. And you don't want to go full musical chairs where 2 competing AP players both hit the seat at the same time from the same distance after camping it. Watch for other campers, watch it for people looking up from their phone every 3 seconds, you know, watch for somebody sitting closer than you. And if that situation, either let them have it or, I don't know, be faster, get closer. I don't know. Or like I said, if they're camping it, just buy the seat. I would do it just to spite the person. Depending upon who it is, there's 3 AP players that we cannot stand at my local, and the rest are either like we're neutral with them or they're like really cool people and just like whatever. We'll hey, you want this? Hey, oh yeah, you want this one? It's a little too high for me today. You want this one? Or hey, did you win? Oh yeah, I found a good number on this. Oh hey, I got some intel on this one. Somebody told me this is the number on this. Like it's kind of nice to have a network. We usually don't get along with much of them, but lately, you know, they see us, we see them, we know what we're about. The other ones that are just rude, they're in for themselves, they're greedy, they're probably drug addicts, or just they're having trouble paying their rent. They start bending the rules, not following the etiquette, doing anything for an extra $50, you know, tying up multiple. When the 2-minute drill goes off, they buy into 2 machines at once while they see us 2 walking up. I mean, we told the guy, you pull that crap one more time, we're calling security and they can discuss with you what you're doing there. Because we happen to know at that particular casino it's not allowed. But man, the competition's going to be fierce. So that's why I wanted to kind of focus on like the whole other people problem, because you're going to have the biggest other people problem that you've ever seen on New Year's. Don't let it scare you away. Don't get intimidated. But if you're a very passive, non-confrontational person, I mean, it's smart to de-escalate. The last thing you need is a fist fight and you both get kicked out. But the last thing is you want to continue your discussion in the bathroom or in a stairwell in the parking ramp. Because that's happened to me before. Now, I can handle myself, but also the no gun policies and the metal detectors at most casinos, that kind of stuff really pisses me off. Because I want to be able to cover my own back. Now, I am a bigger dude and I used to kickbox. If you think you're going to try and, you know, cause a problem on the way out of the casino where there's no cameras or just whatever you think you can get away with, it ain't going to go as well as you think it is. Now, that said, a lot of the ones I go to have metal detectors that also do like some kind of surface level density detection or something with like AI. And I know some items that will get past them. And I don't have them because I'm not going to commit a felony and get trespassed for life because I want a self-defense item that in most cases I don't need. That's just stupid. But I don't know that some other desperate drug addict AP douchebag burnout doesn't have something like that on them. So it really pisses me off that it's not just like, hey, I've got a concealed carry permit. Can you just not, you know, toddler proof the whole casino? Considering I was at the casino when somebody shot up the place last time. I'd prefer to be able to defend myself, thank you, but like I get both sides of it. Like I know I can trust myself. How do I know somebody else can trust, you know, can be trusted? So if it disarms a bunch of people that have anger problems and shouldn't have a gun on them, cool, less problems for me, but I still want to watch my back, you know? That's just my kind of stance on that kind of thing. And that's another reason to show up with a group, because they're, you know, somebody who's really mad that you cost them money that was quote unquote theirs on the big night that they were supposed to make a bunch of money. And you're not a local, you're not there every day, you're not working as hard as them, they might try to attack you on the way out of the casino or in the casino or in the bathroom. I have literally had all 3 of those happen. All 3 of the times it ended real bad for the person, but if I cannot put myself in that situation, then the better. So, you know, don't antagonize those people. Don't like, haha, I got to this one first. Hey, I got to this one before you. I'm winning more than you. Haha. Because you don't like their tactics and they don't like your tactics. And then, you know, you're playing chicken. Who's willing to go the furthest? Don't do any of that stuff. Just don't. I am not Mr. De-escalation. Unless you're paying me to work security at your event, then I'm going to do things properly so that you don't have an insurance thing and a bunch of paperwork to fill out, or the cops threatening to pull your liquor license. But other than that, in my average daily life, I'm just going to let it go. It ain't worth, some ego battle over $50, okay? Or getting stabbed. Or me explaining to the police why there's now a second unconscious person in the stairs or the elevator in the parking thing. Because, they have a large criminal history and I don't, but, 2 or 3 or 4 times seems a little high. So don't be Mr. I'm going to piss them off on person because I'm the better person. They shouldn't be here and I'm Mr. Morals and I'm here to set everything in the whole world right. And if somebody's behavior needs correcting, I'm going to be the one to do it. Just know that you're risking stuff and New Year's ain't the time to do it. So don't piss off the other advantage players. Don't go out of your way to taunt them. Don't try all these sly tactics to do stuff that is not normal etiquette. Don't, full speed run to a machine to take it before they did when you saw them camping it, okay? As I said, the more hilarious thing to do is to just not wait for the machine to open up, and then you don't have to play track and field to see who can get there and get their butt on the seat the fastest, and then have a little physical confrontation with someone about it. It's way, way, way funnier to just walk up, hand the person a 20 and say, can I buy your seat for $20? I really like this machine and I won on it before, whatever excuse you got. And then you sit down and then they think, oh, I should have done that. Oops. I mean, it's still going to piss them off, but not as much as actually wrestling them to the ground over a seat. Now, I've never done that, but I've seen 2 people do it. They both got banned for life from the casino. Because security knew that they're always around, they're always in a bad attitude, they've always got their hood up and their stupid little earbuds in, and they're the type that any second could cause a problem. They don't talk, they don't spend anything, they don't tip the staff, they're just AP players sitting there stealing the money, but management said don't crack down on those people because it's not worth the drama and there will be 10 more people to replace them, so just don't do it. As soon as you two get in a conflict over who's going to jump on the machine, they're kicking you out for life and that's their excuse, trust me. You do not want to start pulling crap like that, okay? So just be ready to just let it go. Or be more clever than them, but don't throw it in their face. Oh, you should have bought the seat, you idiot. Don't you know what you're doing, you small fry? I've heard of other people pull crap like that. Don't antagonize people. Don't piss them off if they're desperate for money. That is a perfect storm for them just punching you in the face. And then just security might be, okay, he attacked you, cool, but we're kicking you both out because we'll review it tomorrow, but you both have to leave. And then, well, there goes all your money. So your stupid ego battle and your stupid, I don't like this person and I'm going to let them know I don't like them. How'd that work out for you? So just a couple little examples of things that can and did happen and that you don't want to get involved in. There's always going to be something. Unless they have somebody every 10 feet at a casino, there's going to be some stuff for you to hit. So you just got to keep on going and work harder than them and don't get tied up on one machine longer than about 5 or 10 minutes. If you can check something super fast just by walking past one boop, bottom, whatever, check it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and walk away, that is what you want to focus on the most. Check it every 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, just be there. Any states, any numbers like Woojin Pin where you can spot it from, 50 feet away, then do it from 50 feet away. And the whole thing with a big crew or even an amateur crew or just somebody you're bringing with you for the night to help you out and cutting them in for 10%, 20% is, here, grab this one, reserve that one, sit in this seat, or buy in and play it yourself. Here, play it, play the one that's at 11, press it till it goes off. Boom, done. I'm going to walk around and see if there's something better. If you're solo or if you don't have a crew, if you're a disorganized mess, and you, that's a 14 on Woojin Pen, but that's, high volatility. It's at $3. I don't know. I'm going to see if there's something better. I'm going to check the other machines. I'm going to real quick check the fast stuff. Oh, there's a bank of 8 Buffalo Ascension that's only 500 feet away. I'm going to walk past those real quick, and then I'm going to walk past a Woojin Pen. Well, guess what's going to happen? One of the other APs is going to be on it, and you're going to be mad. So have your crew just be here, go sit there, hold that, I'll circle back. Either I'm going to hit Buffalo Ascension or I'm going to check it, and if there's nothing, I'll come back. Just have a plan like that where you kind of prioritize, what's the potential profitability on this, and is there something better? So the more eyes you have in more places, the more you won't miss. That's why it's not saying, well, if I bring 3 people and we all pool it and split 3 ways, well, what's the point? Because I'll make 3 times more money and then I won't make any more money because I split it up. No, you will be 3 places at once. You'll have communication and text messages on, and, if it's loud in there, put in an earbud all night and listen to the little ding ding, text alert sound in your ear. whatever you got to do. Or like I said, have a meeting place if cell phones ain't working. And if you're in 3 places at once, you'll make 3 times more money and then split it 3 ways potentially. So like it does actually work. That sounds like it doesn't work, but it does, because you'll actually hit more than 3 times, or you'll get stuff that's better instead of stuff that's close. So if you get one that's 150% instead of 110% return to player, average setup, then you will definitely make multiple times more money. That's just how math works. So being able to lock one up while jumping on another one before somebody else does, well, that money would have been gone. And just the efficiency, the speed, it's really smart to bring people even if they have no idea what they're doing. Just make sure they're trustworthy and disciplined. But I would walk past something and say, that's like, it's a 13 on Magic Treasures. I mean, I could make money. It's going to take me several minutes. You can kind of fast spin it. Could tie me up for 10 minutes and the potential earnings are like moderate. I don't want to miss out on it because everything's really high competition today. See if you can lock it up yourself very briefly or find someone else to sit there. Now, speaking of that, I was going to do this topic last. Scouts. What is a scout? It is somebody who plays casually. They do some low-end AP stuff. They're just whatever. They're either elderly and they're just there for fun, or they're just like, they walk around until they get tired and then just, whatever. Or they play AP and then they blow it all on some slot that they actually like and they're like, it's a free night out. The casuals, not the, oh wow, $10 a spin on that. Well, I got 5,000 in my pocket. Let's go. That's what we call the pros. And then there's one layer up called the big boys. Okay, that's what we nicknamed them. I've got some people, some friends of mine and some groups that I at least know of where if a number on a machine is high enough at 50 or 100, 200 a spin, 500 a spin, 2,500 a spin. I know some people. They're in my phone. I will tell them about it. New Year's, they're probably elsewhere, so that's kind of exempt, but I wanted to just mention this whole hierarchy system. Everybody, no matter who they are, has their limit on what they'll play. And a lot of the big boys and the pros, like in Vegas, they'll walk through Ultimate X. They'll only check 25 cents through dollars on up, and that's it. They won't check 10 cents. They won't check 5 cents, because just for efficiency, it's like, they could be making $10 a hand, $5 a hand, $3 a hand. And then that's like $200 an hour, which I'm fine with making $200 an hour. But they're just like, it's like cost analysis, like lost time trade-off or whatever that is. It is literally not worth their time. They've got 5 other high limit areas with Ultimate X machines and 5 other casinos to check. And if they're playing, 10 cents with a couple 2Xs out, they're going to make money. But what if they missed a setup on like a $5 machine in high limit with like 3X, 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 where some rich person got off and just left it? That is worth 1 hour of hitting machines at nickels. So they're just like, that is literally not worth my time. It's not like, that's just beneath me. I don't bet pennies. I don't bet nickels, peasants. It's legitimately not worth their time. So the big guys, they'll either play everything, which is very, very uncommon, or they're like, I'm only going to check the big stuff. I'm sure there's a great setup at 50 cents. I don't care. Like, that's going to take 30 minutes of my time. So don't just think, they're going to come out and wipe everything. No, they're only looking for the big fish. Okay, they're swimming in the big sea, in the deep section, looking for the big boys, because they are the big boys. So on any regular day, if I found a setup of like 1550 on Phoenix Link at 50 a spin, I'm making a phone call and I'm getting a commission for it. I'm getting a percentage of what they won with a stake of 0 because I spotted it, because I'm the spotter or I'm the scout. So the big boys, the pros, the rich people, the private investors, the equity people, there's different people, different reasons. If I call them, they show up with a duffel bag of cash within an hour or two, then it's real. Let's go. Those big boys tend to not be out. And if they are, they're just like relaxing, because they know they'll get a phone call if their scouts or spotters do something else. So they can just pay them for the night or just pay them a commission and be like, well, the rest of the time I'm going to be drinking with my friends or sitting in the sports book watching sports. They're not usually the ones actively walking around and checking stuff necessarily, or they're just in the high limit room making the rounds and then just chilling. So don't think, somebody with way more of a bankroll than me is going to walk around wiping everything else with, 3 times the speed, efficiency, and skill. That's not usually how it goes. But there are going to be mid-level and low-level APs that are going to be doing that. So you might want to get in contact with someone or, ask the other APs, hey, do you have anyone? If I spotted something truly ridiculous that's above what either of us would play, do you have anyone? And just tell them, hey, I'll cut you in on it. Like, I'll give you half the commission, and they'll give you a phone number. They'll introduce you to whatever, maybe they will, maybe they won't. There's a lot of dishonesty and backstabbing, just like there is in, buying and selling shares of poker, entry performances and stuff. And, oh, this person loaned this, but did this, and they got 50% of my action, and then they didn't get paid, and this person disappeared. Then there's this dispute, and everybody's suing each other, and everybody's dishonest, and that's kind of the world, but like the people that I know are trustworthy as far as I know. I don't know the entire crews and the whole groups, just FYI. I know several of them. And those ones I met in person and I trust them. Another one is just a friend of mine he's like, yeah, you got something? He gets into like any kind of day trading and crypto and, silver. He bought up silver and made a fortune. If there's an opportunity to make money, he trusts me. He's seen my channel. I call him up and say, hey, I got one. You interested? He'll be like, yeah, 10K. I'll be right there. Or, hey, I'll send someone. You'll want to arrange that ahead of time. Now, with the chaos and the lack of reserving a thing and, they're at a party at their house and they're drunk and how are you going to get the money there and the banks are closed and New Year's ain't necessarily the time to do that. But if you have it all set ahead of time and you do make a phone call, maybe they even trusted you with just a sealed lockbox and only they know the code and it's in your car. And if you find an opportunity, you send them a picture of it and they go, wow, cool. Here's the code to the briefcase. I've heard of people doing that. That's just weird because I could break into a briefcase. But, these people, I've known some of them for 10 years and they know where I live. You know what I mean? They got a picture of my ID in their phone just in case. But something like that, if they're going to give you 25% of the profits, yeah, obviously take a photo of the results or a video so that there's no dispute about what happened when... just saying. But other than that, you might want to have a backer. You might want to have a big boyfriend. You might want to have whatever, just in case you see something that's truly, truly, truly atrocious in high limit. Because you're effectively risking nothing, just your time, to scout for someone else, and they are more than happy to just make that a fractional percentage. Because you might think, well, if it's... if they're offering me 25% and a certain number is only 117%, they're going to lose money. No, it's a fraction of the winnings, conditional on the fact that it did actually win. That's why people have said this in the past. I'm like, this is not complicated math, but I guess I'll explain it. Have you heard of somebody saying, I'll come to your casino with $1 million and set up a private blackjack table in my room and I'll play 10,000 a hand if you do this, this, and this. And what they'll usually negotiate is really good terms, obviously. It's not going to be 6-5. It'll be 3-2 blackjack, but they'll say, well, let me split unlimited times and this and this and this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's only 1%. Yeah, sure, fine. But usually also in that, they'll say, I want a 30% rebate. Well, you might think, well, blackjack is a 1% game. How the hell are they going to swing 30%? They'll lose 29%. Oh, no. If you win, cool. If you lose, they will give you 30% of your money back. Whatever the losses are, they will give you a credit that's redeemable the next day. There's an agreement to not gamble with it, whatever. Or they'll just shut down the table and go, here's 30% of your chips you lost. They will give you a rebate on losses. Well, 30% of the 1% theoretically that you could lose. Or let's say you lost 50% of your money because just bad luck, just variance. Or betting higher when you win, which is the fastest way to lose your money. Well, they can afford a fractional rebate that's conditional on you losing. If you win, they give you nothing. If you lose, then they still made money because you lost. They'll just give you a 30% rebate. It works, trust me. So if somebody is saying, I'll give you 10% of the total win, the total profit above our innage, if you spot something and let me know about it. They're not blowing the entire RTP of the whole operation. They're not giving you 10% of the theoretical total amount they're betting or whatever. It actually does work that way. And that's why if you want to set up something yourself and have a scout, just have someone that you trust that walks around the casino all day, that is hanging out in the casino because it's fun. They get a free buffet ticket. They get a free comp once in a while. The casino knows them. They're nice to the staff. They know that's just ultra low roller. That's just grandma. That's just this nice Asian lady. That's just whoever. That's just this 21-year-old. Whatever. He just hangs out and he doesn't cause problems and he plays the machines and he mostly sits around on his phone catching Pokemon, whatever. But it's because they don't have the budget to just be at a casino every day. You know what I mean? So even if a lot of them are advantage players, they don't have the budget to hit anything long or nuts because they can't risk it and then not be able to go to the casino for 3 months while they recover the money. That's who you want to hire as a scout, not some homeless, questionable drug addict with an ankle monitor. That's who a lot of people hire. That's not who I'm friends with. I got some other Advantage players that are like, no, I ain't touching something that high. I stick to the low stuff. And I'm kind of a medium player. I don't have 10K to throw at something, but it's not actually, that's not true. I have 10K just not to throw at something. Let's put it that way. Not all in one go. But if somebody spotted something on ultra high limit Scarab and they're just like, I literally don't have $800 on me to finish this, they'll come get me and they know I'll give them, 20 to 100. So I have informal scouts. My last scout got arrested. I think that's all that needs to be said about that lesson. Look, you show up smelling like weed every day, I know where your money's going. You're broke as crap. You probably got evicted or arrested for possession. Great. Doesn't mean I ain't going to work with you because you're still a nice person. That said, do I want to get roped into anything involving that? No. Are they going to say their girlfriend kicked them out and they want to crash at my place and then they're going to be, I thought we were buds? Like, just, tread lightly in that world. But if you just got some, fun, like elderly person who's, somebody on disability, they're on like social, but they walk around and do really, really low limit AP stuff. They're grinding. They're making 50 extra bucks a day. They never play on a card. They never tell the IRS. That's the kind of person you might want to be friends with because, one, they're cool as hell usually, and two, they can scout for you. Just say, hey, if there's anything big, I know you're an Advantage player, you don't touch anything big or medium. If you see something, come get me. I will cut you in for it. They'll sit next to you, watching you the whole time, cheering you on, high-fiving you when there's a big bonus, and you cut them in for 10%, and they're just like, cool, I made triple what I normally do today. Awesome. You might want to get that arrangement going or bring someone that does not have the money to backstab you or the knowledge or anything like that. Just bring someone younger, someone older, someone who is broke as can be, and just someone who does not have the means to be like, I'm going to play this myself, actually. So either someone from the community, some long-timer at the casino, or someone that is like that, bring them along. They could hold seats for you, they could hold machines, they can scout for you, and just, it's going to be a lot of money for very little risk. And then if you're like, this whole scouting thing, I don't know, that's trying a little hard. Look, I'm just casual at this. You might want to do it on just New Year's and then leave, and then just drop it. I don't know. Because people like that, they'll call you up, hey, want to go next week? Let's do it again. And just be like, dude, we are not going to get the same results as we did on New Year's, trust me, and nobody is there in the entire month of January. I'm just going to go there and get my free credit for the week and sweep some stuff and then leave. There's not enough to go around and there's no need to scout when nobody's there. And hopefully they understand that. I've had people where they get a little, oh wow, free money. I got, I did a couple hours of what doesn't feel like work. I just sat in a chair for someone to walk around and looked for things and got $300. They're going to be pestering you to do it again. And you have to explain to them that there is opportune times. There's a lot of competition. They have to go at the right time with the right crowds, the right people on the right days. And it's not just a limited free money train. And when you go and get wrecked one time, you're like, sorry, I can't really split anything with you. We won on these 7 machines, but then we lost it all on this more expensive machine. We're down 100 on the day and I can't pay you anything. They're not going to take that very well. So this is like it's a whole thing. It's a whole world. It's a whole system of big fish, medium fish, and small fish. And a lot of professional competitive poker level shenanigans of people not trusting people, relying on the wrong people, where they're just like, no, my friend vetted them and said they were nice. And it turns out they're not nice. And complications and money, whenever money is involved, you can't trust anyone, and just like all this. That's why it's like, if there's just, everybody that the staff calls grandma, she's at the casino 8 hours a day because it's more fun than watching The Price is Right. And she just plays little stuff. They all know she checks the machines, and like, they know what advantage play is. And, good for her because she's nice. She tips the staff. She's always polite and whatever. That's who you want to work with. That's who you want to have a relationship with because they are trustworthy. They're OGs and you know that they don't have the resources to hit it themselves. The last thing you want to do is teach somebody within driving distance how to hit all this AP stuff. And then all of a sudden, no, I got 10K in the bank. And then they early bird you. That's the best thing, is when you go to the casino at 6 a.m. and they were there at 5 a.m. and you catch them on the way out and go, oh, I didn't know you're going to be here today at 5 in the morning. Find anything? Did you just wipe out? Is there even anything for me? You didn't say you were going together. I thought we had an agreement. Then it's going to get real bad. Never train someone that can solo stuff, okay? It's got to be somebody with limited income and that you can trust, who's like super chill and a nice person, generally good person. So I think I beat that one to death, but I want to really cover it so that nobody says, well, Des told me to do this, and then everybody backstabbed me, and now it's a situation, and this and that problem. Now, if you're going to do a scouting thing to make a little bit more money, cool. And then like me, I have no problem being the scout for people that'll play 500 a spin. Your boy ain't even doing 50 a spin on most machines, let alone 500. If they want to cut me in for a flat $100, just a finder's fee or percentage, then more power to them. That's free money for doing something I would do anyway. By the way, don't send me a message saying, could you put me in touch with those people? No, I can't. I don't know you and I'm not going to. So I think that about covers it, but if there's a question remaining or something I didn't think of or some condition you want to ask about, leave it in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to brush up on all of your AP guides on my channel and the playlist called How to Beat Casinos. And if you want all of the guides downloadable onto your phone so you can be as efficient and fast as possible for a whole $7 on my Patreon, you can go download it, link in the description and the comments section. If there's one night you can make money on that, and I will not be in any way offended if you sign up for exactly 1 month to my Patreon and then download all those docs and then immediately cancel, that's what I would do. I don't care. I mean, do keep in mind that I am posting new stuff like weekly about how to beat this machine, this machine, this machine. So it is an ongoing thing that is worth the subscription. But if you want to move on to like one of those way more expensive websites that has a database and a crew of 10 people running statistics that can get there faster and have more machines than I do, I don't blame you. But if you just want to stick around because, you know, every month you make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 because of the info and you're like, well, I might as well keep giving them $7. Okay, that's cool too. I kind of get both sides of it. Whatever it is, I'm just there to take it back for the people, the more amateurish casuals who don't do this full time. They just do it as a hobby on the side for a little side money or because they're in the casino anyway and they just enjoy the trips. That's who I'm targeting with this information. That's why primarily I give it out entirely for free on this channel. There is almost nothing on my Patreon that isn't over here. I will be fully transparent about that. But a lot of people just go over there like, yeah, I mean, I already read it all. I know it all. You post new stuff and I want it. But like at the end of the day, I signed up for like the higher tier or put in a custom amount because I just think you're cool and I want to give you a bunch of money. I'm like, hey, nothing wrong with that because it funds my research doing, you know, 1,000, 2,000 spins on something that gets really expensive just to throw out some numbers completely for free and hope it comes back to me. So if you want to help be that person that makes it come back to me, I very much appreciate you. Otherwise, I'm just happy that you guys are here watching, that we're spreading the good word about how to take back the money from the casinos and the other, as we call them, greasies. The greasy boys who are there paying for drug money by doing AP crap. I don't like them, you don't like them, and let's just get together and help ruin their New Year's and ruin their entire 2026. That's my New Year's resolution, so thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.